welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzie, and we have a great show for you today. First topic we'll be covering today is going to be, of course, about the American League game from yesterday, then moving into the National League. After that, we'll be talking about the Dodgers' recent struggles, them dropping the last 3 out of 4 series, and then finally talking about some other general news stories around the league, some stuff I did want to touch upon. But before we do that, I would like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link, gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot. So thank you so much for that, and let's get straight into the show today. All right, so as I said before, we're going to be doing exactly how we start every single show during the baseball season. First 2 topics, or the first topic is going to be about the games from yesterday. So, we're going to open that up with the AL games from yesterday, just the action that happened there. So let's get straight into it. So the first game we have on the agenda here is going to be Orioles and Twins, 2 of the better teams in the American League. One is playing up to their standards, one is not, so should be an interesting matchup. Bottom of the first, Gunnar Henderson would open up the scoring for the Baltimore Orioles as he would hit a solo home run, his 6th of the season, to make it 1-0 Baltimore in the bottom of the first. Moving all the way to the top of the 7th here, which is when the next action would happen, Austin Martin would hit an RBI single to score Manuel Margot, and to move Austin Martin would go to second on the throw to make it 1-1, tying up the game there. Then, in the same inning, Kyle Farmer would score Austin Martin with a RBI single to make it 2-1 Minnesota, so they would end up taking the lead. Then, in the bottom of the 7th, Anthony Santander would hit his 4th home run of the year, tying up the game at 2, of course, so 2-2. Then, in the bottom of the 9th, Cedric Mullins would hit a walk-off home run, his 5th of the season, a 2-run shot to make it 4-2 Baltimore, where they would, of course, end up winning. So a really nice job by the Orioles to not give up and keep the offense going even after all those innings of scoring. So, 2 of their better players came through, 2 of the veteran guys like Anthony Santander and Cedric Mullins. You know, a lot of people talk about the young core in this Orioles team, as they should, because it's outstanding, but they still have a lot of great veteran players, a lot of veteran guys, and I think Santander and Mullins represent both of that and are showing it here why they're so good. So, good job for them. The Orioles had on the mound, Albert Suarez, who seems to be more of a depth piece, not really a full-time starter, but he was really good. 5 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts. So, as good as you can get for a guy who probably isn't going to be in your rotation after this. So, really nice job there. For the Twins, they had Pablo Lopez on the mound, who went 6 innings, giving up 2 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. So, really strong start by him there. 6 innings, only 1 earned run. I think that's a really great start. You want that every single day of the week. So, great job there. Hasn't had the greatest start to the season, but nice bounce-back start, I'd say, against a really good Orioles team. Next game we have is going to be Rangers and Tigers, continuation of the series. They're actually playing currently, so we'll be talking about that game tomorrow, but just did want to talk about that kind of a little bit. In the top of the first here, Adolis Garcia would hit a sacrifice fly to Parker Meadows to score Marcus Semien to make it 1-0 Texas, already here in the top of the first. Then in the bottom of the second, Kerry Carpenter would tie the game up for Detroit and with his 3rd home run of the season to make it 1-1. Going to the top of the 6th now, Adolis Garcia would hit a RBI double to score Marcus Semien to make it 2-1 Texas. So Garcia, again, coming in super clutch and being one of the best hitters on this Rangers team. Such a great player. Jonah Heim, in the same inning, would hit an RBI single to score 2 to extend the Rangers' lead to 4-1. But the Tigers, I keep saying the Rangers instead of the Tigers, but the Tigers would not give up as Colt Keith would reach on a fielding error by Corey Seager to score Spencer Torkelson to make it 4-2. Then Parker Meadows would hit his 1st home run of the year to make it 4-3. That was also his 4th home run of his career. So, great start to his career for Parker Meadows. Bottom of the 8th, surprisingly, Javier Baez would be the one to tie the game with an RBI single to score Matt Vierling to make it 4-4. So, good job by Baez. Has been one of the worst contracts in baseball for a few years now, but keeps performing even when he needs to, and a great clutch hit there. Top of the 9th, Josh Smith would break the tie up with a RBI double to score Ezekiel Duran to make it 5-4 Texas, and they would end up winning that game at that score, so the Tigers would not come back. For the Tigers, they did have Tarek Subel on the mound, who was really solid. 6 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 runs altogether, but only 2 earned, 1 walk and 6 strikeouts, continuing his great season. 2.28 ERA in the season. Again, I picked him as Cy Young. A lot of people did, and he's proven us right so far to having a really, really strong season, especially against this Rangers offense, which is so lethal. So, yeah. For the Rangers, they had Dane Dunning on the mound, who went 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts and a homer, to have a 3.91 ERA on the season. Not horrible, but not exactly what you want. So I think, especially with all the pitching injuries the Rangers have suffered, you definitely like him to do a little better than that, but we'll have to see going forward. So, yeah, nice win there by Texas, beating this good young Tigers team. And, hopefully they can keep it going. Next, we have a matchup of 2 AL Central teams, the White Sox and the Royals, a continuation of this series as well. Royals have been really good to start the season so far, and the White Sox have been horrible, like we all expected. Not really a surprise for either team. The scoring would open up in the top of the second as Adam Frazier would hit an RBI single to score Nelson Velasquez to make it 1-0. Then in the bottom of the second, Paul DeJong would answer back, giving the lead to the White Sox with a 2-run home run, his third as a sock to make it 2-1. Top of the eighth, Salvador Perez would continue his really strong start to the season with his 5th home run, a 2-run shot to score Bobby Witt Jr. to make it 3-2. OPS currently at 940. I mean, Salvador Perez done really, really well. And, you can say a lot about him and his defense, but he's been hitting great. And if he keeps doing that, I don't think Royals fans are going to be mad. Top of the ninth, the Royals would add on with a Hunter Renfroe solo home run. Solo shot is 2nd of the year to make it 4-2. And the White Sox would, of course, not come back because they are not good. And the score would end up staying at 4-2. For the White Sox, they had Jonathan Cannon on the mound, who was pretty solid, going 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. So for his first MLB start, pretty great. So, yeah, just another guy that's coming up, going to be part of this young White Sox team, going to be a big part of their future. So that's exciting if you are a White Sox fan, seeing these guys finally come up and seeing a core develop after you've gone into this long rebuild. For Kansas City, they had Brady Singer on the mound, who went 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, only 1 home run. 1.54 ERA in the season so far. Really nice job. I think him, Lugo, Waka, and Reagans are just quietly turning into one of the better rotations of baseball. I don't feel like people talk about it enough, but yeah, I think it's a really, really strong top 4 and just a really strong team altogether. So, yeah, Royals, I think, are proving a lot of people wrong. I don't think a lot of people wanted to drink the Kool-Aid when they saw how many people they were signing. They're like, this team's not going to be that good. Well, they've been really good so far, and I think they are, and I believe in them. So, yeah. With the Royals and White Sox had a doubleheader yesterday, so we're going to go into the second game of that. In the bottom of the 4th, Dominic Fletcher would hit an RBI single to score Andrew Vaughn to make it 1-0 White Sox. Bottom of the 6th, Gavin Sheets would add on for the White Sox, hitting a solo shot to make it 2-0. Top of the 7th, Hunter Renfroe would hit an RBI groundout to make it 2-1, but that would be the only score for the Royals, and only their 5th hit and they would only get 5 hits the entire game, as they would end up losing this low-scoring affair 2-1. Kind of seemed like they were just tired after with this doubleheader. Watching the highlights and watching the game, you could kind of tell they were just kind of worn out after the first game. So, I'm not gonna take them losing to the White Sox as a huge deal. I don't think it's something to be incredibly worried about. So. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but of course you would like to win these games. You always want to capitalize off playing one of the 2 worst teams of baseball. So the Royals did have Michael Walker on the mound, who of course was really great. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts, turning into a really great contract. And as I said before, transforming this Royals staff into one of the better ones in Major League Baseball. For the White Sox, they had newly acquired Eric Fetty on the mound. He went 5 2/3, giving them 3 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. So a really strong start there. I still am very high on him. I still think he's one of the better starting pitching signings of the offseason when you factor in price. So, yeah, a really great job there and a really good start. So, next game we have is an exciting one that happened, which was Yankees and Blue Jays. Starting off the scoring here in the bottom of the second, Dalton Varsho would hit a 2-run home run, his 3rd of the season, to make it 2-0 Toronto. Top of the fifth, Juan Soto would get the Yankees on the board with a RBI double. Two scores, Waldo Cabrera to make it 2-1 Toronto. Oops, there go the lights. There we go. They're back. Sorry about that. We know about this anyways. Juan Soto would hit an RBI double. Two scores, Waldo Cabrera to make it 2-1 Toronto. Bottom of the seventh, Dalton Varsho would strike again to make it 3-1. And keep up the really strong season for him, for Toronto as well. 2 home runs this game. Bo Bichette would hit sacrifice fly in the bottom of the seventh to make it 4-1. But the Yankees would start to climb back a little bit. As top of the eighth, Juan Soto would again come through, hitting his 4th home run of the season, making it 4-2. Top of the ninth, Giancarlo Stanton would lead off the inning with a solo home run to make it 4-3. Then Jose Trevino would hit an RBI single to tie the game at 4, so a really great job by them in the ninth. Then the big blow would come with an Aaron Judge RBI single, scoring 2, making it 6-4. The Blue Jays' all momentum would cease to exist from there, as they would end up losing this game 6-4 to the Yankees. The Jays did have on the mound Kevin Gausman, who was very solid, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, an earned run, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, so he's still an ADRA in the season after this really great start, but he's coming back to it. He's coming back to the Kevin Gausman we all know. I think the injury at the start of the year really affected him, so I would just take it with a grain of salt right now if you are a Blue Jays fan. For the Yankees, they did have Marcus Stroman on the mound, back in the 6th, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a homer. Really strong start to the season for him with the 2.42 ERA. Very skeptical signing for a lot of people considering his history with the Yankees and the fan base, but he's done really well so far, so I don't think you're going to really question it as of right now. Going to the next game, we have A's and Cardinals. Bottom of the third, Esther Ruiz would hit his 2nd home run of the year, scoring Max Schumann to make it 2-0 Oakland in the bottom of the third, showing why Oakland was not smart to send him down. Top of the fourth, Wilson Contreras would hit an RBI double to score Lars Nootbaar to make it 2-1, and Ivan Herrera would give St. Louis the lead in the same inning, hitting an RBI single to score Nolan Arenado and Wilson Contreras. Bottom of the fifth, Shane Langoliers would tie it up, hitting a ground rule double to score Tyler Nevin to make it 3-3. Then Abraham Toro would hit an RBI ground out to make it 4-3. Darrell Hernandez would hit a sacrifice fly to make it 5-3 Oakland, so nice job by them to keep adding on, getting insurance runs. And the final one would come with a Tyler Nevin RBI single to score Esther Ruiz to make it 6-3 Oakland, where the score would end up staying and the A's would win this game. So a really nice job by them. Cardinals aren't that horrible, 9-10. I think they're the definition of mediocrity, so nice job to beat a not horrible team and just get a solid win if you are the A's. The A's did have Paul Blackburn on the mound, who went 5 2/3, giving up 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts. Blackburn's going to be one of the most sought-after arms of the deadline, and keeps pitching like that. I think a lot of teams are going to give up a lot for him. For the Cardinals, they had Steven Matz on the mound, who was not good. 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. If I was the Cardinals, I would have ended the Steven Matz experiment a little while ago. He has not been good in a Cardinals uniform, and I don't know why they keep rolling him out, but I guess they're going to say, we don't really have anyone else, which I guess is unfortunately true. So, kind of all you can say about that there. Next game we have is going to be Angels and Rays. Top of the first, Mike Trout would hit his 8th home run of the year. So happy to see him bounce back after all these mediocre years. He would hit making it 1-0 Angels in the top of the first, of course. Jose Siri would tie up the game with a sacrifice fly to make it 1-1 in the bottom of the second. Then Anthony Rendon in the top of the fifth would hit an RBI single to make it 2-1. Luis Rengifo would hit an RBI double to make it 3-1. Bottom of the sixth, the Rays would answer back with a Randy Rosario RBI single to make it 3-2. And an Ahmed Rosario 2-run home run in the bottom of the eighth would make it 4-3 and give them the lead. The Angels would tie it up in the top of the ninth with a Anthony Rendon RBI single, and then take the lead with a Taylor Ward RBI single, and they would end up winning this game 5-4. So a really great job by the Angels to answer back against this good Rays team. This offense has been really firing on all cylinders, and I think they could surprise a lot of people this year. They're currently 9-9. There's worse records than that, believe me. So I definitely think the Angels could be a bit of a surprise for some teams, for some fans this year. Reed Detmers was on the mound for the Angels, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Really strong start to the season by him. Really great start there. For the Rays, they had Zach Littell on the mound. He went 5 2/3, giving up 8 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Solid there, not the best, but also definitely not that bad. So pretty good there. The final game we have here is a short one: Red Sox and Guardians. In the bottom of the third, Tristan Casas was batting, and Pablo Reyes would score on a balk at third base. So, yeah, good job by the Red Sox there. And then in the bottom of the fourth, Connor Wong would hit a solo home run to make it 2-0 Boston. That is where the game would end up staying, 2-0 Boston. So, of course, a very low-scoring game, and not much else to say there. For the Guardians, they did have Ben Lively on the mound as the opener, kind of 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, and a homer, 3.6 ERA in the season. Solid job by him. For the Red Sox, they had Tanner Houck, who was very great. I mean, complete game shutout, 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts, no home runs. Second one in 2 days for baseball. Really great start by him, and really good, really encouraging thing for the Red Sox to have one of their younger starters finally distancing themselves from the pack and maybe being a full-time starter for them and showing that they are part of their young core. So good job there. All right, that was our first segment. We're moving on to our second segment, which is, of course, talking about the national games of yesterday, just recapping all the action in baseball. So, yeah, we go into that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks so much, and bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment. But before we do that, I would like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show. It really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get into our second segment of the day. All right, so what we'll be talking about, of course, is the National League games of yesterday. Now, we just did the American League, so it only is fitting to do the National League here, so again, it's what I do about every show, so we'll talk about this, and let's get straight into it. So the first one we have is Pirates-Mets. Pirates looking to avoid getting swept here against the Mets, who have just been on fire recently, so we'll see what happens. Top of the third, they would open up the scoring, the Pirates would, with a Brian Reynolds RBI single to score Henry Davis to make it 1-0. That would be the only run the Pirates would get for the entire game. The Mets would run wild after this. In the bottom of the third, Starling Marte would hit his third home run of the year, first against his former team, to make it 2-1. Tyrone Taylor would hit an RBI single to make it 4-1. Harrison Bader would hit a 2-run home run to make it 6-1. Francisco Alvarez would reach on a fielder's choice, scoring Pete Alonso. Then Brandon Nimmo would hit a 2 RBI single to make it 9-1 Mets, where they would end up winning this game. A great win by them, sweeping this red-hot Pirates team. I mean, they've been on fire so far. Started off 0-5 and are now 10-8, 2 full games above 500. So, they've been really good, and I think Mets fans are really excited about what's going on with them. The Mets had Luis Severino on the mound, who went 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 run, none earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Really strong start for him. Has just been okay for the Mets so far, I'd say, but if he can continue pitching like that, I don't think the Mets fans would complain, and it's been a really solid signing so far, and I speak for all Mets fans when I say we're happy to have him, and he's been great. For the Pirates, they had Bailey Falter on the mound, who went 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and a homer, a 4.05 ERA on the season. So pretty solid there. I mean, kind of, just okay. Not really much else you can look for, especially for Billy Fulter. I mean, the guy's, guy's not an ace, I'd say. He's not really that good. So whenever you can get something like that out of him, I'd say it's a positive. Next game is the final of the Braves and Astros series, tied at 1-1. Let's see who can win it. Bottom of the first is when the scoring would open up, as a Yordan Alvarez solo shot would make it 1-0 Houston, his 5th of the season. Then, top of the second, Marcell Ozuna would answer back with his 8th home run of the year. I don't know where this came from out of Ozuna, but hey, he's been doing great this season. The Braves almost cut him a few times, so really nice job there by him. Top of the 5th, Ronald Acuna Jr. would hit a solo shot to make it 2-1 Atlanta to give them the lead. But Alex Bregman would answer right back with an RBI single to score Jose Altuve to tie up the game at 2. Kyle Tucker would hit an RBI double to give the Astros the lead 3-2 in the same inning as Bregman, which was, of course, the bottom of the 5th. Moving to the bottom of the 6th, Mauricio Dubon would hit his first home run of the year to make it 4-2 Houston. Then in the top of the 8th, the Braves would tie it up with Matt Olson reaching on a fielding error by Jose Abreu to make it 3-4, also scoring Michael Harris II. Then Orlando Arcia would hit a sacrifice fly to Mauricio Dubon, which would score Austin Riley to make it 4-4. Going to extras now, top of the 10th, Orlando Arcia would come in clutch again, hitting an RBI single to make it 5-4, scoring Michael Harris II, moving Matt Olson to second. So yeah, great job there. So, and also a great win by the Braves. I don't know why I didn't say that before, but yeah, I mean, beating this Astros team, even though they aren't the Astros of old, we might think right now because of the injuries they have, because of the hardships they face. I mean, they're still the Astros, and they're still premier. They're still one of the premier teams of baseball. Still a team everyone fears. So, yeah. For the Astros, they had JP France on the mound, who was pretty solid somehow. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and 2 homers. With his 7 ERA in the season, I think a lot of fans were expecting this to go much worse against an offense like the Braves. But hey, he did really well, so props to him, and good job there. Hopefully he can do more of it, especially with all the injuries they have suffered. The Braves had on the mound Max Fried, who went 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a homer. Has not had a good start to the season so far, Fried. You definitely need him to be better, especially now with the Spencer Strider injury. So you definitely want to see this come ahead quickly. I picked him for Cy Young. I think a few other people did as well. So you definitely need him to come in clutch and be the Max Fried you know of. So yeah, he definitely needs to pick this up quick, as I'm saying. Next game we have is Giants and Marlins. Top of the 2nd, Thairo Estrada would hit an RBI double to score Jorge Soler to make it 1-0 San Francisco in the top of the 2nd. Bottom of the 6th, going here now, Brian De La Cruz would hit a solo shot to make it 1-1 San Francisco and Miami, his 3rd of the year. So nice job there by Brian De La Cruz, and coming in clutch. Nick Ahmed would ground into a double play to score Thairo Estrada to make it 2-1 San Francisco. Then in the top of the 8th, Matt Chapman would hit an RBI double to make it 3-1 San Francisco, scoring Jung-Hoo Lee. So that would be the end of the game here for San Francisco. Nice job by them to win this game against the lowly Marlins. I mean, you always need to capitalize on when you're playing teams like this, teams like the Marlins who aren't that good. The Giants haven't been playing up to the expectations that I think a lot of people were expecting them to. So getting a win like this is always a good job. And, the record now is 8-11, so they might be coming back a little bit, and I just think they need to get back to 500, and then they'll go from there. Giants had on the mound Keaton Winn coming back from injury. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts, and a homer. So really nice job by him. Before he got hurt, I talked about him as being one of the X factors for this Giants team. He's been really solid so far. 4.09 ERA. I think he could do a little bit better. I think he has one of the better pitches in baseball with his changeup, so I think that could be utilized a little more and a little better, but we'll have to see about that, and I still think he's a really solid pitcher. For the Marlins, they had Trevor Rogers on the mound, who went 5 2/3, giving up 4 hits and earned run, no walks, 6 strikeouts. So really solid start there, 5 2/3, only 1 run against this Giants offense was really, really good. So yeah, good job there. Next game we have is going to be Padres and Brewers. There we go. A short one here, as in the bottom of the 8th, Blake Perkins would hit an RBI single to score Bryce Harang to make a 1-0 Milwaukee. And that is where the game would end. Only 1-0 Milwaukee. 8 whole hits in this entire game, 5 for San Diego, 3 for Milwaukee. Michael King had a no-hitter very deep into this game. Eventually would give it up, of course, and Milwaukee would end up winning as well. So kind of unfortunate for him. He went 7 2/3, giving up only 2 hits and 1 earned run, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, and no home runs. He would still end up taking the loss. I know win-loss as an actual stat don't mean much nowadays, and they shouldn't, but it's still something of pride to pitchers, I think, and it is unfortunate that he did that great outing for the Padres. I mean, 7 2/3, only 1 earned run, only 2 hits, 10 strikeouts, only 2 walks against this Brewers offense that has been really, really good, and the Padres have nothing to show for it. I think that kind of is unfortunate for Michael King, so, always sad about that. For the Brewers, they had Bryce Wilson on the mound, who went 3 2/3, giving up 2 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts, having a 3.65 ERA. So, it was okay as the opener guy. I think, again, you wanted to go a little bit deeper into games, but giving up no earned runs is all you can ask for, really. So, yeah, interesting to see how his role gets more defined as the year does go on. Next game we have to talk about is Nationals and Dodgers. Dodgers looking to avoid the loss of the series to the lowly Nationals. Top of the first, C.J. Abrams would hit a solo shot to make a 1-0 Washington. And then Joey Meneses would hit a sacrifice fly to make a 2-0 Washington in the top of the first. And what do you know? There would be no other runs after that. All the runs would come in the top of the first, and the Nationals would end up winning this game 2-0 against the Dodgers. Wow, I mean, Dodgers have really been struggling. We're going to have a full segment dedicated to that right after we finish this one, so I'm not going to go into it full, but the Dodgers had Landon Knack on the mound making his MLB debut. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and a homer, 3.60 ERA. Nationals had Jake Irvin on the mound. He went 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Really, really great start by him. I mean, playing this Dodgers offense, that's about as great as you can get. I don't really think there's any debate there. That was really, really good. And yeah, that's great for Nationals fans. I also want to say, I don't know when it was, but it might have been a week ago or something, but I said C.J. Abrams used to be a Dodger, which was wrong. It might have been actually, I think, 2 days ago or 3, something like that. But I said he was a Dodger for some reason. He was not a Dodger. He was a Padre. I thought he came over in the Max Scherzer trade. I don't know why, but he came over in, of course, the Juan Soto trade from the Padres. So disregard that. He used to be a Padre, not a Dodger. I got my NL West teams mixed up. Both trade for so many superstars, I sometimes forget about the prospects. So, I just wanted to add that. I don't know when it was, but I don't like giving incorrect information. So, yeah, that was it. The next game we have here is talking about the Cubs and the Diamondbacks. Scoring would open up in the bottom of the first with a Ketel Marte solo shot, his 5th home run of the year, to make it 1-0 Arizona. Then going into the top of the 5th, we would have a Mike Tauchman RBI double to score Nico Hoerner to make it 1-1. Then a Yan Gomes RBI single to make it 2-1 Chicago. Bottom of the 5th, Ketel Marte would hit a RBI single to make it 2-2. Tying up the game with the Diamondbacks. And then in the top of the 6th, Cody Bellinger would hit his 3rd home run of the year, a solo shot to make it 3-2 Chicago. Top of the 8th, Cody Bellinger would hit an RBI single deflected by Jace Peterson. On a line drive to Jace Peterson, deflected by Lourdes Gurriel Jr., scoring Dansby Swanson. And then Bellinger moved on to 3rd by a throwing error from Eugenio Suarez. So a confusing play there, but basically what matters is it was the top of the 8th, Cody Bellinger hit an RBI single and would make it 4-2. Then Michael Busch, the 2 former Dodgers coming in handy in the top of the 8th, would hit an RBI single to continue his great season with the Cubs to make it 5-2. And then bottom of the 9th, Jock Peterson would hit a solo home run to make it 5-3, potentially lighting a spark in the Diamondbacks offense, but it would be no match as they would end up losing this game 5-3. So, yeah, nice job by Bellinger to come in clutch in his home state. Coming back to Arizona, I'm sure, is always cool for him. And, just good job there to capitalize. I'm sure there's a lot of friends and family in the audience. Diamondbacks have Brandon Pfaadt on the mound, who went 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. A great start by him. A really, really great job there. I mean, this guy's so good. and he's proven it right now. For the Cubs, they had Jordan Wicks on the mound, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 5.29 ERA in the season. Not great, not really what you want, especially with the start of the season, but not horrible, and he's still a young guy. I still have a lot of hope for him. I think his curveball is a really great out pitch, and I'm hoping he develops it more as the season goes on and as his career goes on as well. Going to Mariners-Reds now, top of the second, Elly De La Cruz would open up scoring as he would hit a solo shot for the Reds, his 5th of the year, continuing his really strong start to the season. I mean, he's really, really good, kind of throwing off all the naysayers that said he was going to be a bust. Bottom of the second, Cal Raleigh, though, would tie it right back for the Mariners, making it 1-1 with a solo shot, his 3rd of the year. So big dumper would come in clutch there. Bottom of the 6th, Mitch Garver would hit his first home run as a Seattle Mariner, making it 2-1. Josh Rojas would his first home run of the year to make it 3-1. Mitch Haniger would hit an RBI single, then Cal Raleigh would walk with the bases loaded to make it 5-1 Seattle, and they would end up winning this game. I understand this isn't a full NL game, and usually it would be an AO game, but I didn't really have time in the other segment, so I wanted to just get that done here. For the Mariners, they had Bryce Miller on the mound, who was really, really good. 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 1.85 ERA in the season. Really, really strong start, and just a really great job there. So, yeah. I mean, so many great young pitchers for this Mariners staff, and Miller, I think, is at the top of that and had a really, really great start there. For the Reds, they had on the mound Andrew Abbott, who went 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 2 homers, and having a 2.70 ERA. So a nice job there and a nice start. I think he's a really good pitcher. Just unfortunately doesn't really have a spot with the Reds rotation right now, but I think some injuries have opened up spots for him. Final game we have is actually a really close game, which was Rockies-Phillies. Got the P mixed up. I don't really think most people would assume this would be a really close scoring game, but it was. So, top of the first, Rockies would open up the scoring with a Elias Diaz RBI groundout to score Ezekiel Tovar to make it 1-0 Colorado. Then, bottom of the first, Kyle Schwarber would hit a solo shot, his 4th of the year, to make it 1-1. Then Trey Turner would do the same to make it 2-1. Then an Alec Boehm RBI double would make it 3-1 Philly. Then a Brandon Marsh RBI single will make it 4-1 Philly, all in the bottom of the first. So a really great rally inning by the Phillies there to come in clutch against this bad Rockies team. Bottom of the 5th, JT Realmuto would add on, hitting an RBI groundout to make it 5-1. Then another Kyle Schwarber home run to make it 7-1. But the Rockies would come back and not give up, as in the top of the 8th, Eleuterio Montero would hit a sacrifice fly to make it 7-2. Michael Tolley would walk with the bases loaded to make it 7-3. Charlie Blackmon hit an RBI groundout to score Elias Diaz to make it 7-4. Then Ezekiel Tovar would hit an RBI single to make it 7-6 Phillies. So Rockies would attempt to come back 7-6. I mean, really good job by them, even though they didn't win. They would not end up winning this game, as they would lose 7-6. But at the same time, still a really solid job to fight back against this good Phillies team. I kind of think that's all you can ask for with the Rockies right now. So yeah, good job there. They had on the mound Ryan Feltner, who was bad, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. He's a Rockies pitcher. He's going to be bad. Moving on. Phillies, they had Christopher Sanchez on the mound, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 run, none earned, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts. No home runs, 2.53 ERA in the season. Really, really great job by him there. Really just a really great start, even though it is the Rockies. So, yeah. That was the end of our second segment here, talking about the National League games of the year, of today, not of the year. I don't know why I said that. So, yeah, I just wanted to recap those and recap all the action that happened yesterday. We go on to our third segment here, which is talking about the Dodgers and their struggles. Talked about it before, how I didn't want to go too deep into it because I was going to make a full segment on it. So here you go, talking about the Dodgers and their struggles this year. So yeah, we'll be going into that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our third segment, which is going to be talking about the Los Angeles Dodgers and the recent struggles they have had as a ball club. So you may be thinking, well, Sam, I don't really know how that's true. I mean, you look at the division right now, Dodgers are in first in the NL West. They're 12-9. You know, they still have a .571 winning percentage. How is that true? Well, I would agree with you in a way. I think that the Dodgers are still a great team. They've been doing great. But the fact is, right now, a .571 winning percentage is struggling. I mean, they're 5-7 in their last 12, which is not good. Obviously, they lost 3 out of their 4 series. So I think there are some question marks to talk about here and, say, okay, what's going on with you guys? You are the mighty Dodgers. You started off amazing. You signed every single player on the free agent market this year. Why are you only 12-9? Now, 12-9 is so great. I want to make that correct, but I want to make sure that's clear. But it's the Dodgers. We expect so much from them. And as I said, 5-7 in the last 12. That's something to look at there. Like, that's a real thing. That's something to say, okay, is there some worry here? And I don't know if there's worry personally. I think that Dodgers fans should be a little concerned. I won't lie about that. I think they should be. But do I think they should worry or, think the season's over or something like that? I don't really know. I don't think so, though. I think a lot of this with the Dodgers has to boil down to injuries and what's going on with that. As I heard Gary Cohen say during a Mets broadcast, the Dodgers basically have a whole rotation on injured list. You have Bobby Miller, who just got placed there with the shoulder, Walker Buehler, who's coming back from Tommy John, Clayton Kershaw, who we don't even know what's happening with him. You have Dustin May, who has Tommy John. And, you have some other great relievers as well, like Blake Treinen there with a lung problem. Obviously, we hope that's better. So the Dodgers just have had the Dodgers have been hit bad by a lot of injuries, in my opinion, and I think that's really what the main problem is now, boiling down to their struggles here. They've had a lot of misfortune with their guys getting hurt, with kind of just some freak injuries and just some other off-the-field stuff. I mean, Bobby Miller is a huge loss. Clayton Kershaw, of course, you kind of expect him to get injured, but he still is a big loss. I think they were hoping Buehler would be back at this time. And the fact is, you're having guys like Landon Knack start. We just talked about him. Landon Knack, a prospect, yes. Is he bad? No, but should he really be starting for you guys? I don't really think so. I don't think he's that good. So, right now the Dodgers do have a 4.14 team ERA on the season, which is 17th in the major leagues, which is in the bottom half of the league, of course, as 30, so 15. So not really what you want right now. I think there are some problems with the pitching. Glasnow and Yamamoto have been great, but after that, I think some of your guys have been a little iffy. Just, the bullpen has been a little iffy. Some other pitchers you've had haven't been the best. So I think the top 2 is great. I just think the depth overall for the Dodgers is something to question, is something to look at, and is something to see. Now, I'm not sure about just the overall team, but there are some struggles right now. I mean, Freddie Freeman only has a 760 OPS so far for this season, which for him isn't good. I mean, you pay him a lot of money. You expect him to be one of the better first basemen in baseball. You think he would do better. So, and other than that, you're not playing that hard of teams. I mean, you just played the Nationals and you lost 2 out of 3 there. So there's not really excuse with that. I mean, you've also lost a series to the Padres, which you should not lose at home against a division rival. You beat the Twins in Minnesota, which was nice, but you lost the Cubs in Chicago, which was not good. So I think there are a lot of question marks right now with the Dodgers. I don't think they're significant ones, but I think they are question marks that do need to be asked a little bit and kind of answered. I think a lot of their players are underperforming. There's a lot of injuries and just a lot of on certain things with the Dodgers right now. Again, Glasnow, Yamamoto have been great. Paxton has been good as well, but I think after that, you just worry about your depth, you worry about the injuries. So you just had to call up Andy Pages because your outfield offense has been abysmal. Mookie Betts hasn't even been swinging the bat that hot. I mean, he's still been really good, of course, don't get me wrong, but I think over the past few days or so, he hasn't been as good as you would like him for Mookie. So I think losing a series 2 out of 3 to the Nationals is a horrible thing. Like, I don't mean to sound dramatic here, but you just cannot do that. Like, that cannot happen. You can't lose a series like that to the Nationals. It really just is a big negative. So I think when you're looking at an overview of this NL West, every game does matter for the Dodgers. I think that's pretty clear. You have behind them, you have the Diamondbacks, who are the defending NL pennant champions, who are an amazing young team, who are great. And I think in any other division, except these, I think in really almost any other division, they would have been first. I think there's only 2 better teams in the NL East, NL than them, which is the Braves and the Dodgers. So I think they are the 3rd best team in the NL. And I think that was continued, especially now with the signing of Jordan Montgomery. So I love the Diamondbacks. Of course, they just placed Erod on the injured list. They're getting Montgomery back. They're probably going to get Erod back eventually. So the Diamondbacks have a great team. They're only getting better. They're someone to worry about. The Padres, they're also someone to worry about. They have a great team. They have some great young players. Of course, Jackson Merrill's heating up. Of course, you have Manny Machado. You have Fernando Tatis Jr., Ah-Sung Kim. Xander Bogaerts has not been good so far, and there's been a lot of outcry on social media about that. So, maybe that, that's something to watch going forward. But the Padres have a great team as well. Dylan Cease, Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove, Michael King, the other great young starters they have on this team. So, yeah, the Dodgers have Dodgers have their work cut out for them, definitely. There's a lot of competition in the NL West, a lot of competition in the NL period, and you just cannot drop series to the Nationals when you have a team like this. You cannot. You pride yourselves on being a great team, as you should, a perennial postseason contender. But these are some really bad losses right now, and it is something to worry about. Again, it's not worrying to the fact of, the Dodger season is falling apart and, nothing good is going to happen and the whole season's over. No, obviously that's not true. But at the same time, there are some things you have to worry about here. The outfield offense has been bad. The pitching has not been what you've wanted. The overall depth, I think, some of the guys coming back from injury, big question marks. So there are some things to watch here, and there are some things to wonder about if you are a baseball fan or you're a Dodgers fan. So that is something I did want to talk about. And, I mentioned the Padres and the Diamondbacks, but there's also the Giants, who are a great team. I mean, they added Jorge Soler, Matt Chapman, Blake Snell, so many great guys. You're getting Robbie Ray and Alex Cobb back soon. So, yeah, I mean, Dodgers have their work cut out for them. I think it's a little less certain than other years that they may just run away with the division. I would not be surprised if the Diamondbacks take this. I think the Padres and Giants could also as well. Giants, of course, are struggling, but they're not going to be struggling for too long. I think they'll get off that pretty quickly once all their new players start to play up to form and their guys just come back and play like their regular selves. So again, I don't think the Dodgers have too much to worry about. I think there are some worries here. I think the pitching depth is an overall problem. I think you have to get the offense back going. I mean, Chris Taylor and Jason Hayward. Jason Hayward's hurt, and Chris Taylor has not been himself right now. Mookie Betts has been struggling the past few days. Still playing well, but not up to, I think, Mookie's full standards. So it's that. You have some of the bullpen depth, some of the overall pitching depth and rotation depth. Some of the younger guys coming up, you're not sure how they'll do. Some of the guys coming back from injury are big question marks. So yeah, just some overall questions for the Dodgers right now. I think a little bit more than people would like to mention. So some people know as well. So yeah, again, not too big of a deal for the Dodgers right now, but definitely are some things they have to answer, and there are definitely some things that you want to see improve if you are a Dodgers fan. So yeah, kind of a shorter segment there, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out on the Dodgers and what was overall going on with them. So yeah. we'll be going to our fourth and final segment, which is going to be talking about the overall news around the league, just some general news stories. I did want to touch upon some things that I thought were interesting. And some injury stuff there, some other news stories there. We'll talk about it and see you after the break. So thanks, and bye.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth and final segment of the show today, which is talking about some news around the league, just some stuff I did want to touch upon, some interesting things that I thought were notable to talk about, and some notable things to just say. So I wanted to go over the first one, which was really interesting one that kind of caught my eye, and I wanted to talk about it. So Tristan McKenzie of the Cleveland Guardians. Last year, he tore his UCL in his pitching arm. Wasn't to a full way where he had to have Tommy John. Again, I don't really know the full scope of it. I'm not a medical expert. I don't really know that side of baseball or just anything. I'm not a medical person. I have a podcast about baseball. So, Zach Meitzel, I believe I'm pronouncing the name right. If I'm not, I apologize. One of the better Guardians reporters. He had a full article and interview with Tristan McKenzie just about the whole situation. If you do want to see that, please read it. It's a great article. So, but yeah, Tristan McKenzie in that set. So, what I was saying before I went off topic was, I was not saying that. So McKenzie did tear his UCL, of course. So usually you would have Tommy John or just a surgery, kind of like someone like Jonathan Loizaga is having, or Spencer Strider, where it's not Tommy John, but it's still reconstructing the UCL and you are out for the year. Instead, McKenzie decided to not get surgery and have rehab through it and see if he could pitch through it with, still with it torn. I know some pitchers have done that in the past, most notably Masahiro Tanaka, who did it really throughout his whole tenure with the Yankees and was fine. So now McKenzie is saying he's not sure about that decision, and he's not sure if it was the right decision. His velocity has notably dropped, and he hasn't been himself. He hasn't been as good as you would usually expect him to be this past year, and kind of in the second half of last year as well, when he was getting affected by this. So that's something interesting to see, that he isn't sure if he made the right decision. I'm not sure if he did either. I would have just gone with the surgery, to be honest. McKenzie's a young pitcher, a guy that has a lot of potential. What's interesting about him is, he is called Sticks. That's his nickname because he's skinny, like they said, the saying, skinny as a stick. He's skinny as a stick. I mean, that is what and so that kind of has to do with his body. You wouldn't expect a lot of velocity to be coming out of him, a guy who is very skinny, kind of tall, but still not really as a build of an athlete you would kind of expect with the muscles. So, but yeah, so it's interesting to hear him say he's not sure about this injury decision, and it's something that I'm wondering about if other pitchers feel the same about just their overall injury decision throughout their career. And it was really interesting to hear him just be fully transparent with it, fluid about it, and just say, I'm not sure if I made the right decision, but we'll see if he does get surgery. I do think he's going to get surgery eventually, and it's going to be a big blow to the Guardians. I mean, they've been really good this year, but at the same time, Shane Bieber just had Tommy John for them. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be just something that is something to watch here as season goes forward, and seeing what does happen with McKenzie's arm and his UCL. So I'll be keeping close eyes on that. And again, it's a situation that really, really does interest me. Next, we have the Red Sox. They placed Tyler O'Neill on the concussion list, the 7-day concussion list. Now, O'Neill had a collision in the outfield with Rafael Devers after they both went for the same outfield ball, and he, of course, got a concussion and landed on the 7-day IL. This is a big blow to the Red Sox, as O'Neill was great, 7 home runs, an OPS plus of 239 leading the league, an OPS of 1.209, which also led the league. So he was doing really, really well back in his spot, with his new team of Boston. I think it kind of just wore thin with him in St. Louis, with the team and the players and the organization. He dealt with some kind of public backlash with the manager of the team, Oliver Marmol. So it was kind of time for him to just get out of there and build a new start for him. So obviously, he's done very well with the Red Sox, 7 home runs, but now is landing on the 7-day IL. No correlation there with the 7-day IL and 7 home runs with a concussion. So that is unfortunate. That is something I don't think Red Sox fans were hoping for. But, yeah, I don't know what that was, what I just said, sorry, but it is unfortunate that they are losing him. He's been so good with them. He's been one of the bright spots, that lineup bright spots of this team. One of the reasons I do think that they are outperforming a lot of the expectations people place upon them. So, yeah, I'm definitely hoping it gets better. I think concussions are a thing that can affect an athlete for a long time, and we saw it with last year with Rizzo, who looked lost to play for 3 months, and we figured out he had a concussion that they never diagnosed. So concussions are a thing that I think are a big deal with baseball players. Of course, bigger with other sports like hockey and football. But at the same time, it is still something that is notable with baseball. It is still something that does affect them. And it could have a long-term effects if it keeps going on and on. It doesn't fully go away. I thankfully have never had a concussion, so I don't know what the kind of regimen is for that or how much it does really affect you. But as I've heard, they're not fun. And I think it is going to be something that the Red Sox have to monitor for the rest of the year. And it is unfortunate that O'Neill's placed in the concussion list, the injured list. He had gotten off to such a great start with the Red Sox, and is doing a really great job with them. So yeah, it is unfortunate it had to end up like that. And hopefully it gets better, of course. Robert Stevenson, the biggest signee for the Angels this year, signing a 3-year contract as a reliever worth $33 million, has been placed on the injured list with an elbow injury and is out for the entirety of the year. This is a shocker last night. I made a short on it as well, so if you want to hear my first reaction to my first take on it, you can go check that out here on the channel. It's on Shorts. So yeah, this is not a big shock here. Stevenson had an elbow injury that popped up preseason. Angels were monitoring it, said, he's not going to start the season on the opening day roster, but he should be back. And then we got really no updates, and it kind of turned into, well, he'll be back later in the season. And then it just dissolved into this where, okay, he's out for the year. I'm not exactly sure what the injury is actually. I don't think they've been too specific, but it's enough to keep him out for the year. I would assume he tore something. He's out for the year. That's what I would assume. So that is really unfortunate. I thought Stevenson was going to be a really good signing for whatever team got him. He had a breakout season with the Rays last year. His stuff was phenomenal. He pitched really, really well. I was hoping the Mets would sign him, but signing a reliever to a 3-year deal as the Angels was always a questionable decision. Again, I think Stevenson's really good, and I think the actual contract is good. But spending big money on a reliever when you're a mediocre team at best was kind of a surprising move. You could have spent on a lot of other things, maybe a real starting pitcher. You could have given that money to someone like Marcus Stroman if you wanted to sign there. So, surprising, but it is unfortunate for Stevenson. I was really hoping to watch him this year, see if he could replicate what he did last year with Tampa. Again, it's sad that it had come to this, and it's sad that he's out for the year. So, yeah, it is unfortunate, and something I'll be monitoring in the future, seeing if he does bounce back. They still have 2 years left for his contract at $11 million per year, so seems like another bad contract given up by the Angels. Kind of common at this point. They apparently get a $2.5 million team option at the end of the contract, though, because he was out for an entire year. I think that's what it was. So that is, I guess, nice if he does perform well at the end of the contract, but still unfortunate, and I was looking forward to watching him, and it does kind of suck that he will be out for the rest of the year. Next, we have Garrett Whitlock. He went to the injured list with an oblique strain for the Red Sox. Whitlock has been really, really strong this year. An under 2 ERA has been one of the bright spots for this Red Sox team. So it is unfortunate that, like O'Neill, he's going on the injured list for them. Oblique strain shouldn't be that big of a deal for a pitcher. I would expect he's back in around 15 to 20 days. I don't think it's something that is going to affect him fully going forward. But yeah, still unfortunate. Again, Whitlock was finally breaking out, finally doing really, really well. And he gets hit with an injury like this. It is unfortunate. it is something that I think is a negative for the Red Sox right now, something you don't want to see. So, yeah, not happy about that if you're a Red Sox fan, and it is unfortunate. Again, I think Whitlock was kind of becoming a really great guy for the Red Sox so far, becoming a really good pitcher, and kind of living up to his potential fully right now. So it's sad that this did happen, and hopefully he gets better, and I think he'll be a big part of the Red Sox future and what they do end up bringing here for their pitching core. Michael Tonkin was picked up by the Mets off of waivers from the Twins, which is very interesting. The Mets just DFA'd him around a week or two ago. Talked about it on the show. He had 2 appearances for the Mets, both against the Tigers. Both times he blew the game for them. So got picked up by the Twins, who he pitched for earlier in the 2010s, back when he was actually in the major leagues and not pitching for independent ball. Got DFA'd by them, and then the Mets picked him up again. So Mets obviously did not give up on him, even though they did release him. So yeah, that's something that is interesting. I said this in a short I made last night as well, but it would have been fun if the Mets traded him to the Twins for a player to be named later, and then Tonkin was traded for himself as he was the player to be named later, as the Mets picked him up and the Twins got rid of him. So I think that would have been really fun. But, it is nice that Tonkin is back with the Mets. He's back in the MLB roster as well. So I think a whirlwind few days for him, and I think he's hoping to have his second tenure with the Mets better than the first one, and hoping to make it stick. Finally, the Padres placed Yu Darvish on the IL with neck tightness for 14 days. An unfortunate thing here. I mean, Darvish, of course, is one of the better pitchers for the Padres, and a guy that I think is really, really good. I don't think neck tightness should be a huge deal. He'll come back from this relatively soon, but with these older pitchers, you have to be worrisome about these kind of injuries and these kind of things. So, yeah, I mean, definitely watching this one here. Definitely monitoring it, seeing what does happen. So, again, I'll be watching what happens, and I'll be seeing what does unfold here. So, unfortunate injury for the Padres and the Padres fans, having a really good past few days. So, again, hoping Darvish gets better and hoping he rebounds from this. So, yeah, that is the end of the show for today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to follow us anywhere on social media to get content and updates: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you're on it, we're probably on it as well. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, post notification bell to make sure you guys get notified whenever we upload a video. A lot of people who watch this content are not subscribed to the channel, so make sure to subscribe and get notified every time we upload. Not just me, but all the other great content creators on this channel. Again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see what baseball brings us. Thanks, and bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn.